Are you ready?
Audio.
Swift kick, and that's going to be fielded at the 46-yard line. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 11 and Under Youth National Championship. Of course, my name is Jonah Wood for Generation X Youth Sports Network, powered by AG Sports. As we're bringing you championship games this entire weekend, and it's been a blast from Tuesday now to Sunday. As we were going through these brackets, it's been decided on the football field. No politics, no rankings, no nothing. The best against the best. And you just play for your championship. Rarebreeds with the handoff. Rarebreeds in the white, and TME out of Florida in the light, or what we call royal blue. Coming out with their matte domes. Hurry up offense for the Rarebreeds. That's going to bring up 2nd and 7. Hand off to the right-hand side. Not a lot of room there. So that brings up 3rd down for the Rarebreeds. Top of the first quarter. Rarebreeds will substitute their personnel right now. Handoff, and there's some room, makes a player miss, still on his feet, gets all the way to the 25-yard line. Excellent run by the Rarebreeds as he was able to rip off some yards right on the right-hand side of that offense. They got a lot of push and didn't get hit till he got to the 2nd level. Clock will stop until they'll set the chains. 1st and 10. Ball is handed off once again to the right-hand side, still on his feet, gets across the 20-yard line. Ball will be spotted close to around the 17-yard line as his Rarebreeds is in their hurry-up, or what we call a quick tempo offense. Won't allow too much substitution on the field. They'll try to get the ball on and off, but Trey Mann will go ahead and substitute some players right now. They'll have to be careful here because Rarebreeds will snap it and give you a legal substitution. So that's 2nd and 6 inside of the 20. Quarterback rolls to the right. Looking downfield, a lot of pressure, and he's going to be sacked as he kept his eyes downfield, didn't feel the pressure from the backside. Trey Mann elite with a big play. He'll lose maybe close to around 5 yards on that. That's going to bring up 3rd and 15 for Rarebreeds. And take a look at that play as protection broke down. Of course, this quarterback trying to look downfield. And so it's going to be a big task for the left tackle of this Rarebreeds offense to really try to defend the pressure that usually comes from that right-hand side of the defense for Trey Mann Elite. If you haven't watched them this year, they are a treat to watch defensively with a lot of talent. And this time, goes up top. Big play by the Rarebreeds, gets inside of the 10-yard line, hands off to the right-hand side, and they'll walk into the end zone as they score on their first initial drive. Touchdown Rarebreeds as they make it look easy going against this Trey Mann Elite defense. Rarebreeds scored fast, taking only 3 minutes and 9 seconds. You look at the play. And you'll see backs next to his quarterback gets that good push behind the right-hand side. He's not touched, ladies and gentlemen. Touchdown Rarebreeds, number 21, as he walks inside for 6. Point after attempt here. NCAA rules. 2 points get you getting in there pass and play, and he just flat out drops the ball. So the extra point will be no good, but the rules are you pass or pass or run. That is your 2-point conversion. So Rarebreeds comes down, scores easily. Now we'll see if Mann Elite can go blow for blow with at the time was the number 2 ranked team, as this Mann Elite team knocked off the number 1 team, which was SED at the time. And they're trying to do the impossible, knock off number 1 and number 2 in 1 week. So congratulations to the Bessemer 6 and under team. They are the 2022 Youth National Champs. Also, Bessemer would claim the 7 and under as well. Shout out to those boys, the Voodoo, ATL Elite, bringing home the 8 and under national championship. And of course, last night, Georgia Eagles finally defeating their nemesis, the Twin City Outlaws, as they bring home the national championship. And you saw earlier today, Lambeau with the win for the national championship. So right now we're deciding who's the 11 and under champion. And right after this, ladies and gentlemen, it will be a 12 and under showdown. DEA, Dragons Elite Academy out of Texas. They will be taking on West Orlando Jaguars out of Florida. Then definitely keep it locked here on Generation Next. As a 13 and under matchup, you won't want to miss as well. It'll be the Lauderhill Lions taking on Falcons United. Handoff, he'll get across maybe the 35-yard line, and that's going to bring up about 2nd and 7, gain of 3. Maybe a gain of 4, maybe brings up 2nd and 6. Quick tempo offense for Mann Elite as they come with quad receivers to the bottom of your screen. Pistol formation. Quarterback and shotgun. Calls for the ball, hands off right up the middle. And man, oh man, no room there as he's hit right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a loss of a yard there. Didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. Let's see where the official forward progress is. And yeah, they'll lose a yard on that play. Opening quarter, Rarebreeds go down and score 6-0. Stays in that same formation as they get a call from the sideline. 4 wide receivers to the bottom. Quarterbacks in shotgun. Quarterback looks to the wide side of the field, and that's going to be flags over the football field as both of them get tangled up, and that might be pass interference or defensive call, and let's see how they interpret it. And they'll call defensive holding. So that's going to be an automatic first down for this Trey Mann elite offense. 5 minutes and 32 seconds in the first quarter. Score is 6-0 Rarebreeds. Quarterback and shotgun. Twins on both sides of the field. And no success running in the trenches as Rarebreeds are all over that. Number 44 on the tackle, no gain. Rarebreeds size advantage in the trenches for the Rarebreeds. It seems like this Trey Mann elite just trying to keep that defense honest, testing the interior of that Rarebreeds defense. Quarterback rolls out, throws it up for grabs. It's going to be picked off, coming the other way. Ill-advised throw by the quarterback as the pressure was being put on him. And let's take a look at this play. That was all caused by the actual pressure being put on by the defense. Quarterback threw off his back foot. And let's look at the play here. And picked off. So on the interception, it was a block in the back, so they'll back the Rarebreeds up to the 20-yard line. 4 minutes and 35 seconds in the first quarter. Rarebreeds with 3 wide receivers, 1 setback, quarterbacks in shotgun. Handoff right up the middle, and there's some players there, or I want to say Trey Mann elite right there. No gain on the play. Oh, it looks like they'll give him forward progress, maybe a yard. Quarterback reverses field, cuts up field, and he'll be hitting the backfield. And it looks like it was some confusion on the play as the quarterback looked like he was trying to hand off the ball, nobody there. Tried a spin move, and Trey Mann defenders right there on him. It's going to bring up 3rd and 11, 3 minutes and 43 seconds, I should say, in the first quarter. Score 6-0 Rarebreeds. Rarebreeds getting the call from the sideline. Quarterback rolls to the right, looking downfield, throws a strike, across the 30-yard line. That's going to be enough for a first down. They'll move the chains. They needed 11 yards, and they got 14. 1st and 10 Rarebreeds. Handoff to the left. Tries a bob and weaves, and he'll get a couple. Handoff right up the middle, has a lot of room, still on his feet, gets across a 50 power run right at the interior of TME's defense, and they'll move the chains once again as this Rarebreeds offense really being successful on the ground. And we have a timeout on the field as Mann Elite wants to talk about this. High snap for the Rarebreeds. Falls on the ball all the way back at the 37-yard line. They'll lose almost 12 or even more on that one. They'll lose close to 14 yards on a high snap. Ball spotted at the 30-yard line. 1:35 left in this first quarter of action. Handoff right up the middle. Nothing but room in front of him. Tries to pick up some blocks, but he'll be tackled all the way across the 42 and gets a lot of those yards back, and a very manageable conversion now in front of the Rarebreeds. And incomplete. Handoff right up the middle, still some room, and bowls over for a first down. Call one.
Come on, bro. Come on, let's go, bro. Come on, let's go. But it's that time. It is that time to drop the hammer.
Rarebreeds calls a signal right up the middle. It's a race to the end zone. And touchdown, Rarebreeds. Going to the trophy table. And wants to get a look at those crystal balls up front. And I can tell you these Rarebreeds, no matter if they're 13U or 11U, they always give you something interesting. Years ago, we had the golf cart Rarebreed situation. Now we're going to the trophy. So Rarebreed increased their lead 12-0, 9 minutes and 49 seconds in the second quarter. Point after 10, throw to the side, and let's see if it's a catch. And it's a catch. He goes up and climbs on a ladder. And the extra point is good. Rarebreeds, let's take a look at the play. He attacked the ball at its highest point. And it looked like it would be over the head of the would-be receiver. But, man, he proves you wrong going up there and snagging that out of the air. Quarterback rolls, he scans, throws it high, and he goes up for it, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that vertical leap. Maintains possession all the way down. Both refs confirm extra point is good. So your score, 14-0, 9 minutes and 49 seconds right here on Generation X U Sports Network, powered by AG Sports. Rarebreeds go up 14-0, second quarter action. Onside kick, fielded around the 45-yard line, and that is where Trey Man Elite will set up their offense to try to climb back into this game being down 2 scores. Sends a play in motion. Quarterback back to pass. Some pressure comes in. He's hit low. And flag on the play. holding. And so it gets a little worse for TME as they give up a sack, but the Rarebreeds will elect that 10-yard mark off instead. Ball comes back to the 40-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 20. Mann Elite, 9 minutes and 35 seconds. Pressure from the backs, have flags in the play and a catch, but there's flags on the play, so it might be coming back as Mann Elite was able to put a magical play together, but the white hat is at the 40-yard line, and it looks like it is holding. Oh, man, that has to hurt for Mann Elite as they were able to put a 50-yard strike put together by Mann Elite. Flag came out early. So before he released the ball, the flag was out. Take a look at that play, delivers it, and that's their go-to guy. That is a player that gave SED fits all day. And when he hits open field, number 21 is a load to handle. So big penalty there as they take points off the board, shooting themselves in their own foot, and of course, he's going to be a little winded after that play. And today he's wearing number 3. Handoff. Tries to duck from one player, be tackled by number 44 as he's hitting the backfield. So Rarebreeds pumped up right now. If they saw that, listen, this team can score, we have to turn it up to another level right now to not let that happen again. And they'll lose yards on that play. 2nd and forever right now for this Mann Elite offense. Trips to the bottom of the screen. Quarterback scans the field, throws it up top, tries to come back for the ball, and incomplete, thrown out of bounds. Seven minutes and 34 seconds in the first half. Score is 14-0 Rarebreeds. TME backed up all the way to their 34-yard line. Can't get a first until the other side of the field at the other 35-yard line. Sends a play in motion. Quarterback back to pass once again. Pressure coming in. He'll be grabbed and sacked on the play. Flags are down at the 40-yard line. And it might be holding against the defense, but we'll wait for the official call. If it is holding defense, that'll be an automatic first. So that's the best thing that can happen for this TME offense. And that's a call, ladies and gentlemen. So that's defensive holding, automatic first. And the Rarebreeds bail out that Mann Elite offense as they were getting multiple sacks and hitting the backfield. But it's new life for this Mann Elite's offense as the ball will be spotted at the 49-yard line. 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in the second quarter of play. Trips to the top of the screen, single coverage down at the bottom. Player in motion, quarterback back to pass. He throws it up to a wide open receiver. And incomplete on the play as he got behind the defense. And just a little short as the ball bounced off the shoulder pad of the would-be receiver. You take a look at it here. They got what they wanted. They got the matchup they wanted. Runs out of the slot position. Quarterback knew it would be one-on-one. Got behind the defense and incomplete on the play. Brings up 6 minutes and 42 seconds in the second quarter. They'll come out in the same formation once again. Trips to the top of the screen, putting pressure on the safety to cover one-on-one. They'll slide in number 3, their go-to playmaker at the bottom of your screen. Pay attention to that matchup against number 0, one-on-one, man coverage. Sends a player in motion, comes back the other way. Quarterback back to pass. Throws it to the back out of the backfield. And what you guys didn't see if you weren't paying attention to, looks like it was going to go to number 3, but he slipped coming out of his stance, and the quarterback had to improvise, check down from number 3 into the back out of the backfield. Ball will be spotted around the 50-yard line, bringing up 3rd and 5 for this Mann elite offense, knowing that they need to trade blows with this Rarebreeds team because you don't want to trail them too much going into the second half. So they're trying to respond with some type of offense of their own. Quarterback does a comeback route right at the sticks, and he's going to drive his way at the sticks. He was hit short of it, but his yak yards was enough to be able to get and move those sticks once again for Mann elite. So 1st and 10, Mann. Rarebreeds substitute their defensive linemen, trying to keep those guys fresh to keep the pressure on this quarterback. As you can see, if he has some time, he can get the ball there to his receivers. Sends a player in motion. 3 wide receivers once again to the bottom. Flags on the play. And hit behind the line of scrimmage. Tackled by number 15 for the Rarebreeds. All over that play. All sides. So that's going to be 5 yards against the Rarebreeds as penalties have plagued them on this particular drive, keeping this Mann elite offense on the field. 4 minutes and 59 seconds in the second quarter. Player in motion. He'll look to his left, rolls to his right, flags on the play, has another receiver downfield, but the flags are out, and man, oh man, you got to feel for this Mann elite offense. It's going to be holding, so every time they get a big play, the flags come out early, and Mann elite, they're livid right now, not wanting to give up this holding. And so the coach is going to call his player to come over to get it. Some instructions from the sideline, but 2 big plays by Mann elite negated by 2 big holding calls. So not only will that ball come back, they'll march him back 10 yards, making it that much more harder to convert for a first. So that's 4 minutes and 15 seconds in the second quarter. Ball will be spotted at the 49-yard line. And that's the difference in the game right now. Mann elite has some bright spots offensively that they're getting behind this Rarebreeds defense, but man, oh man, grabbing jerseys to protect the quarterback to give him a little extra time to get the ball downfield. that's going to be a false start. And, man, Mann Elite trying to get something going, but back-to-back penalties have them going the wrong way. Ball spotted at the 46-yard line. So it seems like the adjustment for Mann is not to really run at this interior of this Rarebreeds defense, but to really spread them out and go vertical. It's worked, with the exception of the holding calls. Pistol formation, they go back to reverse, and this is their playmaker here. He's in open field, makes one player miss, stiff arm, and you see this kid's explosive, and if they want to make sure they can get him into the open field, because in open space, this kid is deadly. Biggest player on the football field, and most likely, arguably, maybe one of the fastest as well. So Mann Elite will need to find ways to get the ball to number 3 to make a difference in this championship game. 2 minutes and 53 seconds in this second quarter. So that's going to bring up 2nd and maybe 12 for TME. Quarterback rolls out to the left. And number 3, once again on the catch, he climbs the ladder, snatches it out of the air. And gets out to the 40-yard line, making it very, very manageable, 3rd and 5. So they get back those penalty yards, and number 3 puts his team in position to potentially convert this for a first down with 2 minutes and 10 seconds in the second quarter. Again, we're under this Florida sun. Quarterback in shotgun. Hard count, trying to make the Rarebreeds jump offside. They show a little discipline there. Quarterback back to pass, has some time. Looked like he's trying to set up a screen. Doesn't see it there. He goes down, throws, almost throws an interception like his receiver wasn't ready for it. But a flag in the backfield, defensive backfield, and they're going to have an, well, let's see what the call is. Let's see what the official call is. And that's going to be ineligible receiver downfield against Mann Elite. Man, you got to feel for these penalties against Mann Elite. But when the play breaks down, you know they're trying to set up a screen. So, of course, those linemen, they slip out the backfield and trying to get blocks at the second level. But the linebacker jumped the route for that back slipping out of the backfield, and the quarterback trying to improvise. But about time he got to do that, the linemen were already downfield. So that's going to have the ball spotted back at the 44-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10. So the biggest enemy of this Mann Elite's offense right now has been the penalties, pulling back their big play capability against this Rarebreeds defense. Quarterback back to pass. He'll throw it out. And incomplete, had the play there. And that's going to bring up 4th down at midfield. So they'll need to be very careful here with a minute and 19 seconds left. It's 4th and 10. And it's decision time. Are they going to punt the ball? And it looks that way. It looks like the offensive coordinator is sending in a pass play. So they're going to go ahead and roll the dice with a minute and 19 seconds left before the half, 4th and 10. And we're going to get a timeout on the field. Timeout Rarebreeds. Rarebreeds want to defend this 4th down play. When we come back, more action right here, 11 and under, Generation X, U Sports Network, AG Sports. 5 wide receivers, quarterback and shotgun, 4th and 10. Quarterback back to pass, blown dead. $12 on the field for the Rarebreeds. They'll mark off 5 yards, minute 16. Ball is at the 39-yard line. Brings up 4th and 5. 5 wide receivers. Quarterback is trying to say, hey, coach, send in the play. Quarterback back to pass. He'll look to his left. Calls his own number. Throws it deep. Oh, and incomplete on the play, in and out of the hands of the receiver. First and 10 Rarebreeds. Quarterback back to pass, pressure coming. And incomplete on the play. Handoff right up the middle, has some room. And he'll be tackled close around the 42-yard line. Handoff right up the middle, still on his feet. And that looked like Watts, as we have 27.4 seconds left in the half. And timeout on the field. Quarterback in shotgun. He'll slips out of a tackle, still on his feet, calls his own number, and they'll get to him. He'll get back to the original line of scrimmage with 18 seconds as he was trying to hit a home run with two receivers streaking to the back of the end zone. So it's going to be timeout, Rarebreeds. They want points before this half expires. Quarterback back to pass, has time, clean pocket to a wide open receiver, and he overthrows him. Nobody, and there's going to be flags on the play, and that might be holding. And that holding, if I'm not mistaken, with inside of the 20 seconds, that should be a runoff. We'll get the check from the umpire up here in the box. So we got clarification because we came out of a timeout. Won't be a runoff for that penalty. So 11.8 seconds. And we'll have a timeout. Timeout, TME. Quarterback back to pass. He'll throw it out. Has some block up to the 50-yard line. And he'll be at the 48-yard line. And that should do it for our first half of play, ladies and gentlemen. It's 14-0. And the story has been Rarebreeds, but TME has had their opportunities to score. They just had the penalty bug. But it should be a very interesting second half. If Trey Mann Elite can go ahead and eliminate some of their penalties, they should be able to give this a very contestable game. And this is the beginning of the second half. Rarebreeds 14-0 over Pregame. And we'll get ready to rock and roll for the second half right here on Generation X. So Pregame will start this second half with the ball. Ball spotted at the 45-yard line. And we have whistles on the play. False start. And we were thinking that, man, listen, Pregame coaches would talk to their team and say, let's minimize the penalties. But they come out on 1st and 10. And discussion in the middle of the field. Not sure what it is. So usually that's a discussion when they're doing what they call a snap count infraction, where they're imitating the snap count. So we'll need to see what the official call is going to be. As the white hat steps aside, he'll give us a call. And disasserting signals, as I said, when the defensive tackle or the lineman is saying, hut, can't do that. That's a 5-yard penalty, so that's going to be a 5-yard penalty. So, hey, yes, the coaches from Pregame had their discussion with their team. Let's minimize the penalties in the second half. So 5 yards against this Rarebreeds defense. Play in motion. Quarterback back to pass. He'll look downfield, pull the ball down, and pick it back up. And big hit. Big hit. And that's going to be targeting. They'll throw that in. A late flag, as he had to look at it. You can't throw any blows to the helmets of a player. So ball is tipped, wave flag. So that brings up 2nd and 5. Top of the third quarter, scores 14-0 Rarebreeds. TME doing some last-minute subbing. One player off, one player on. They'll need to watch that play clock. So they go to a 4-wide receiver set, the slot coming in. He doesn't know the play. So he's getting some last-minute instruction, player in motion, quarterback back to pass. He'll look to the flats. And incomplete, some miscommunication between the receiver and the quarterback. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 5. Third quarter action here in South Florida. Youth National Championships, 11 and under. Rarebreeds taking on TME. Rarebreeds now with a 2-score lead as TME gets the ball at the beginning of their second half. Quarterback back to pass. Some pressure on. He'll try to reverse field. Still keeping his eyes downfield to an open receiver. That's going to be enough for a first. Still on his feet. Gets across the 25-yard line, and a late flag comes in. And that might be the targeting this time. Let's see what the official call is.
Targeting
they'll tack on yards there after they make this call. So ball will be spotted at the 16-yard line, 9 minutes and 25 seconds. And there's whistles on the play. Time out on Rarebreeds. 8 minutes and 54 seconds, 14-0 is your score. And tackled at the line of scrimmage. Trips to the top of the screen, and the ball is on the ground. Picks it up, trying to make something happen, makes one player miss, still on his feet. And they're bringing their playmaker in at the quarterback position, but the ball was snapped on the ground. Number 3 is their guy. He makes something out of nothing, and that's going to be a 4-yard gain. That's going to bring up 3rd and 6. Ball is spotted at the 12-yard line. Quarterback back to pass, waiting for a play to get open, and that's going to be incomplete, but he was grabbing onto the receiver. So that may be pass interference or defensive holding, depending on how they interpret. Let's see what the official call is. Pass interference on defense. So that'll be half the distance of the goal line, automatic first down. Best or deepest penetration this TME offense has had all day against the Rarebreeds, really keeping the ball this entire 3rd quarter thus far. 7 minutes and 9 seconds left in the 3rd quarter as they are in the red zone. Strong run, not much there. Quarterback rolls to the left. Flags on the play. As soon as the ball was snapped, there's a flag that came in from the west side of the field, and that's going to be offsides defense. So it's going to be half the distance once again. So as soon as the ball was snapped, flags came out, and neutral zone infraction by the Rarebreeds. 6 minutes and 17 seconds as this has been TME's best opportunity to score thus far in the game. So 2nd and goal. Ball is spotted at the 2-yard line. Getting a play from the sideline. All the players still looking back at the offensive coordinator as they're getting some adjustments. Quarterback calls his own number. And he's at the half-yard line. Physical play by the Rarebreeds. And so this TME offense is lining up in a regular formation with wide receivers standing up next to the tight end or to the tackle. And Rarebreeds aren't really going for that. They're not looking at them as wide receiver threats. They're focusing in and they're selling out to the run. So TME may need to readjust their offensive look, that they're going to kind of have to match power for power here down at the half-yard line. They're just not buying that there's wide receivers going out for this play.
Yeah, hey, you ain't get no invite, just sitting around hanging. What you thinking? You ain't in if you ain't in them power rankings. Hey, yeah, it get lit, hey, hotter than a sauna. Hey, try again next year, you might get a call from Jonah. Hey, but there ain't no waiting, you gotta come outside and play. Hey, if they can come to you, then go and play them games away. Hey, yeah, in December, that's when ain't nobody safe. Hey, think I'm just talking, I just got off live with Clay. Hey, yeah, I go crazy on that highlight, they rewind me, they come and find me, and then invite me to wine. See, I came for MVP to have a whole lead behind me. Done played in big places like IMG. Hey, yeah, battle tested, you ain't bad at test. Come and play against the best from the generation next. Hey, hopping all on Facebook, not going for that flex. When a tough game gets set, we do our best to try to pull up where they at. Hey, yeah, yeah. I see. Generation next, I see. Yeah, I see. Generation next, I see.
So TME will come out with 3 wide receiver set again on the half-yard line. That will demand a cornerback on each one of these potential wide receivers. And everything else is bunched in tight. And the Rarebreeds are bunched in tight so they can match numbers in the middle of the field. And this looks like a rugby style of play. And they try to push in. And they won't gain that yard against that Rarebreeds. You got to remember, Rarebreeds very big up front. And you got to say, hey, man, your biggest player, you got him lined out as wide receiver. Your most physical player, you got him lined out all the way to the wide side of the field. That might be a time where this big player for your team helps you out there in those trenches. Because now everything is on the line at 4th and 1. They'll lose half a yard there. 4 minutes and 42 seconds in the third quarter. And now it's mano y mano. Man on man. 4th down for the Rarebreeds. This time they send a player in motion. Quarterback goes back to pass. He'll throw it in across the middle, and it's broken up by the Rarebreeds. Defensive stand as you needed 1 yard for a first, and you go in shotgun and throw it in the middle of traffic where all the defenders are, and it's an incomplete. Take a look at this, and throwing in the middle of traffic, nothing there. So I'm sure that offensive coordinator would love to replay that series back again in his head and maybe rethink a couple of those plays. But the strength of that Rarebreeds defense is the interior of that defensive line. They haven't been able to gain anything all day in that interior. You got 2 plays that you run right at their best players. Then you come back out and try to throw across the middle in traffic. And if you are going to throw the ball, why not throw to that big kid again, number 3, who's about 6'1" on the edge. Give him an opportunity to make a play. So 1st and 10, Rarebreeds on their own 1 yard line. And they get an easy, well, let's see what the call is. It looks like it was offsides, but they're saying it's going to be a false start. It's a discussion. Oh, let's see what the call is. And it is, false start. So it being at the 1 yard is only going to be half the distance. So they'll back them up to the half-yard line. As the Rarebreeds was trying to draw them offside to get some easy 5 yards so they can have some room to operate their offense. So tailback deep in their own end zone, quarterback and shotgun in his own end zone. Handoff, and he gets a little breathing room, gets out to maybe around, let's see what the official mark is. He'll get out to around the 4 yard line, bringing up 2nd and 6. So you can expect the Rarebreeds, they're taking a note out of their book. They're getting their biggest back inside of there, and they're just going to want to plow right ahead to get some room. Hitting the backfield, still moving, still breaking tackles. And that'll be another gain of 3 on the play. That's going to bring up 3rd and 4 for the Rarebreeds. 3 minutes and 47 seconds in the 3rd quarter. Handoff right up the middle, breaks a tackle. He's going to be across for the 1st down, still on his feet. Breaks another tackle, still on his feet. Gets out all the way to the 34-yard line. What an individual effort. Let's look at that play as he was carrying TME players all the way down close to around the 35-yard line. Wow. Take a look at this play here. Handoff right up the middle. And spinning and turning. Handoff once again right up the middle, and there's nothing but green pastures in front of him. He looks like he has reservations for 6 as he crosses the line. And wow, man, oh man. So that is a 99.5-yard drive by the Rarebreeds as they started that from the half-yard line as they got backed up with a false start, which backed them up to the half-yard line. They put a drive together in just 1 minute, and they score big against Trey Man Elite. Wow. And that was just the physical play of the Rarebreeds as they just gave it to their backs they just fed their running backs the entire way down the field. Rarebreeds have 99 problems and a yard ain't one. Wow. Wow. Very, very impressive drive by the Rarebreeds. And that's how you do it, man. You're playing championship football. You're backed up at the half-yard line. You leave no doubts on the football field when you can drive 99.5 yards to kind of cap off what your point is trying to be. And I can tell you, has to be deflating to this TME defense as you think you got them pinned up for a possible safety. You go from being on the half-yard line to actually watching them celebrate to go up 22-0. And that was all physical play by the Rarebreeds. Everybody wants to see that run one more time. Maybe we'll get it in between one of these plays. Let's take a look at it one more time as TME is setting up their offense. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. So as we're in between quarters, let's take a look at that last run again, ladies and gentlemen. What an individual effort. This kid would not be denied. And man, oh man, makes it look easy for the Rarebreeds. So when you're talking about teams having championship pedigree, there needs to be certain moments in the game that define that game and define that team. And you got to say that is one of the drives that really could define this Rarebreeds team as they're on the quest to repeat as national champs. You know, these kids can look back on that play when they were on their own half-yard line and drove the field against TME for a touchdown to go up 22-0. Now we'll see how TME responds right here, being down 3 scores. Quarterback back to pass. He'll go up top, and that's a lot of contact there, and flags are out. But this is the kid I was telling you that they needed to go to early, and you can see even with somebody draped over him, he is your playmaker. And that is the kid I definitely would have looked out of those 4 plays being at the half-yard line at least once or twice. I'm coaching that team, 3's getting the ball. There's nothing even to talk about. Quarterback back to pass. Throws it across the middle. Almost. Oh, and it's a catch to across the 30-yard line. And the ball will be spotted close to around, let's call it the 23-yard line. Quarterback back to pass. He has some pressure, steps up in the pocket, delivers it in and out of hands. Number 3 drops it, took his eyes off the ball, and, man, I'm sure he wants that ball back. That's going to be 3rd and around 3.5 for the first. 7 minutes and 39 seconds. And next up, ladies and gentlemen, it will be the 12 and under Youth National Championship. West Orlando Jags, led by Cam, taking on DEA. And they got a special kid of their own at number 2. You got to watch those 2 players. I'm sure they will want to lead their team to a national championship. Third and 4, TME, quarterbacks in shotgun. Quick pass to number 3, breaks the tackle, won't break the second tackle as they're all over him. And that's going to bring up 4th down for TME. And, of course, the big boy matchup today, very interesting matchup, East Coast versus West Coast. Maryland Heat defeats the OG Ducks for the first time in maybe that series history to move on to the championship round. They'll be taking the new representative of the West Coast, LA Rampage. Guys won't want to miss that matchup. And 13 and under of Falcons United, who's been ranked number 1, will be taking on the Lauderhill Lions. And, man, the pressure just too much for TME as they come in and sling the quarterback to the bound. It's going to be turnovers and downs. It's Rarebreeds ball with 6 minutes and 4 seconds left in this game. Handoff up the middle, and it's going to be blown dead with the 1-yard gain. So the forward progress to get them across the 26-yard line. And that'll be about a gain of a half a yard, not much there. Handoff, not a lot of room there as this TME defense has been playing pretty good football outside of those big plays and that 99.5-yard drive. And that was just Rarebreed just winning that action here in the national championship. Ball across the 30-yard line, gain of 2. Got to bring up 4th and maybe 5. 3 minutes and 24 seconds left in the contest. And the punt is up. And man, oh man, when nothing can go right for you, the ball hits the TME player in the back. And listen, when you have a punt up and you know that punt, there's an old saying in youth football, they scream, Peter, Peter, get away. And flags are on the play, so they'll bring it on back. You see this punt go up and hits the player right on his back. But that play will be negated by a penalty by the Rarebreeds. Guys, and we want to thank you for following us all week, all the way from the press conferences, all the way to the games that took off, to even the registration and certification. Thank you for tuning in all week to YNC Division I football. We'll gear it up again next week for Division II. But right now, we're crowning Division I champs. And Division II teams, if you're watching, get ready. As you can see at YNC, all we give is the smoke. So that was a 10-yard penalty against Rarebreeds holding. So they'll back them up 10 yards to punt again. And that will do it, ladies and gentlemen. Your 2022 Youth National 11 and under champs, pitching a shutout 22-0. And in the press conference, coach out. And the Rarebreeds are your 2022 national champs. Next up, 12 and under. Movie is about to go down. DEA versus West Orlando Jags. You won't want to miss the action. Keep it locked here on Generation Deck. Next, all day.